Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Metcon workout or metabolic conditioning or general physical preparedness. Now, I hope that you guys can hear this. I've had to swap microphones. My other one had a major problem, and this is taking me quite a while to even get this footage up today. If it's not hearable, maybe people can have some suggestions, but I'm literally have turned the volume up as high as it will possibly go on my microphone, this recording software, everything else, and it doesn't look like it's as loud as I'd like it, but I've maxed everything out. Nothing more I can do. So I may need to go ahead and buy another $100 headset again because the one that broke was actually like 6 years old. So, we're doing what we have to do. But another Metcon work. Today we did this a little bit different than what I did last time. I ran the same basic routine that I did yesterday, but instead of breaking it into two, of stopping at 4 rounds, taking a couple minutes to get my breath, I wanted to see if I could push it out for the entire 20 minutes with no real break. I stopped to tie my shoes in the middle a little bit past the midway point, but outside of that, this was done continuous. This is one streaming non-stop video file. So again, kind of a good test of where my conditioning is and for me to continue to work on it, because the only way we get better at conditioning is to continue to do conditioning and push it up. So for those curious, this has come up a lot with this. People are like, well, couldn't someone just do HIIT cardio and get the same benefits? No, absolutely not. Because why do we do Metcon like this? What is the point? It's to use resistance training to use the different muscles in your body sequentially to create a cardiovascular effect. So if you were just doing something that was somewhat all out with just your legs and nothing but your legs, it's not the same thing, because then you have a break. And people say, well, I could do it on an elliptical where arms and legs and everything are going at once. Well, no, that's not going to work either, because you're going to be limited by muscle strength. In other words, you're still going to be using almost no resistance then. Okay, it's going to be using no resistance. It needs to be a moderately challenging amount of resistance. And yes, I can crank out 15 chin-ups. I had to, but instead I'm doing 5, but there's still resistance to that, okay? And we rotate through different things. We rotate through different things that use different muscles in your body sequentially while keeping your heart rate up. So with this, this is almost a play off of my harder version of the CrossFit workout, Cindy, that they do, which is just what? They do 5 chin-ups, 10 push-ups, 10 air squats, and then you do as many times as you can inside of 20 minutes. Well, I'm just doing a continuous with 10 chin-ups, 5 chin-ups, 10 push-ups, 10 step-ups with each leg alternating. And again, that's dramatically more challenging than an air squat. And then 5 glute ham raises, and doing the cycle non-stop. So I don't really get a break at any point in here. It's just continuous conditioning. So the heart rate and breathing stays elevated all the way through while running through resistance stuff. Now, have any of you ever thought about it? Have you been on an elliptical for 15 minutes and thought you got bigger from that? No, you're not gaining muscle while doing that. But you do something like this, 35 chin-ups has a hypertrophic effect. Like if you weigh 220 like I do, 35 chin-ups has some hypertrophy to it. There is some growth benefits. Same thing, you do 60 plus step-ups on each leg in a rotation, there is some hypertrophic benefit. Now, what else do we get from doing this? We're training these muscles to work while our heart rate is very elevated for volume. Okay? We train these muscles to clear waste products better. We get into better cardiovascular shape while doing resistance. All right, this matters. This affects your overall training. This will affect your overall training. And that matters a lot because this builds work capacity and it speeds up recovery. So if you get into shape by doing this, and by shape we mean cardiovascular shape, that's conditioning. Too many people over in this fitness game, they get all these silly terms from the bodybuilding world, which is absolutely ludicrous. You guys have to lose that nonsense. Okay? You have to lose that nonsense if we're going to talk about sports and fitness and athleticism. This is conditioning in the sense that it gets your conditioning up, your cardiovascular up. Okay, now can that cause some of the conditioning that they call conditioning, which is fat loss? Of course it can. Of course it can contribute. And we're seeing that slowly happen with me. I have been recomping while doing all this. But that's different. That's not the same as conditioning. And it's just that people confuse that because a lot of times when you see athletes who do large amounts of conditioning work, they do tend to lose body fat because they burn a ton of calories and they get nutrient partitioning and it can improve body composition. So therefore, that term just got picked up as well since boxers get leaner when their conditioning is really high. That they start people start confusing it that way and then they carried it over to the whole physique world because they misuse terms anyways as a general rule, right? The words conditioning, intensity, everything else have a totally different meaning for them than they do for the sports world. Well, the sports world used all these terms first, okay, way longer before. And so there's this misuse of terms. So what we mean by conditioning here is cardiovascular conditioning. Well, what does this do as far as our training goes? Well, it improves our ability to recover between sets. Okay, if we have better waste product clearing, we can do more work in less time when we're actually lifting. Okay, so that means you can get more work done in a single training session. It also enhances recovery because we train our body to clear waste products. It improves our work capacity, so our ability to get work done, our ability to recover between sets, so we can just generally do more work when we train, which you guys are seeing in my own workouts. Okay, that's what we're doing. How does that translate then in terms of recovery? Well, we can do more work per workout and we can recover from it. We can gain muscle and strength faster. Okay, we get bigger and stronger quicker. That's the name of the game. That's what we want to do. That's ideal. Now we come over to the body composition end, and some people have said, I can't believe you're talking about eating large amounts of protein. That sounds very bro. Well, it would be bro if I was telling you that when you bulk in a calorie surplus on minimalist training, that you gain more muscle. That's not what we're saying. Okay, that would be a bro statement. I'm talking about recovery. We're talking about body recomposition, all these benefits we can get from protein overfeeding when we aren't in a surplus and we're doing very large volumes of training. All right, we know that amino acids from protein enhance recovery. They enhance connective tissue recovery. They prevent overuse injuries. All right, I'm training with very, very high training volumes at maintenance calories. All right, anything I can do to enhance my recovery and lower my injury risk helps more gains. Right? It helps us make more gains. That's what we want. That's desirable. That's what I mean by the protein overfeeding. And allowing me to just work a lot harder, do a lot more work, push my maintenance calories up. I'm actually eating over 4,000 calories a day at this point, and I'm not gaining body weight. That creates a much larger anabolic response in the body. So if we can consume more calories, more protein, get all these anabolic signaling and response from the food, but we're not in a surplus gaining fat, we gain muscle quicker. If we gain muscle quicker while staying at maintenance calories, we lose body fat, we recomposition. Now, is this the way that everyone should do this? Of course not. This is what we would call optimal, not efficient. This is not even remotely efficient. However, what do I do for a living? I run a fairly lucrative channel, and no, Greg Doucette's video about how much my channel makes was dramatically lower than what I make. It wasn't even in the ballpark. And when I mean not in the ballpark, he didn't even get 50% of it right. It's not even just double what he estimated. He's bad at math. He needs to talk to more YouTubers. It's been a lucrative channel. It's still a lucrative channel. I also run a full-time strength coaching business. Okay? This is now my livelihood. I run two different businesses completely related to strength and lifting and fitness. All right? I have to be training optimally. I have to be getting results. I have to keep moving forward. I'm looking at what's optimal. That's what I care about. I don't care about any other nonsense. I don't care about dogma. I don't care about whatever BS people are coming up with. I have to always be finding what is optimal, and I have to be able to then learn to apply it to my clients, to everybody else, so that I can get them the best results possible inside their life situation. I'm in a life situation to where I'm a full-time fitness personality, really, and coach. My whole life can revolve around this. Therefore, I can do stuff that's training optimally. But optimal and efficient are not the same thing. For people who have other things going on, a good coach also has to learn how to be efficient. But for people, you have to decide, are you going to train efficient or optimal? Because they're different ends of the spectrum. They are mutually exclusive. But you could say for a person who has limited time in recovery, efficiency might be optimal for their life situation, but it's not optimal across the board. Now, there we go, we're tying my shoes. So, what's up here with the Metcon work? Well, I got tired at 18 minutes in. I just pooped out. So I was able to continue this for that point, and it ended up being 35 chin-ups, like 70 push-ups, 35 glute ham raises, or might have only been 30, and then whatever, 60 something step-ups per leg, because in the final set of the step-ups, I just flat ran out. Coming up here in about 7 or 8 minutes, I just flat ran out of steam. I'm tired, I'm fatigued. I'll build on this, but this one was a good test to see what I can do without doing circuits with breaks. This was what can I do non-stop. What's my conditioning like before I just flat run out of gas? And I was able to keep this up for basically 18 minutes. I could probably build on that. Some of it we could work on doing it a little faster, right? Because some of this I could try to get to the stuff a little bit faster as I build work capacity and conditioning further, because I'll keep building it, right? I'm getting into good shape on my conditioning, but it can always improve. And I don't think it's unreasonable. A goal would be to maybe do the same amount faster and be able to complete it. It could be to extend it out longer to get to 20 minutes, to get to 22 minutes, right? Build work capacity, build conditioning. You got to keep getting in shape. It's at a decent place. It's coming along. To weigh 220 to do all this stuff nonstop, not bad. Definitely not out of shape. But we always need to get in better shape, and for me as an athlete, getting in better shape is the way to go. Now, as far as the recomposition, body composition, I definitely had friends who watched this stuff too, and they're like, yeah, you're losing body fat. You can tell looking at your lower back and stuff, it is slowly coming off. Right? That's not cutting, it's recomping. It has to do with very, very high energy turnover, very large amounts of training that are maximizing hypertrophy, maximizing conditioning. All my nutrient partitioning is moving along because of that. I'm redirecting calories towards building muscle at this point. And if I'm not gaining weight, I have to be taking body fat off, which is what you're seeing. So this isn't cutting, this is just true recompositioning through sheer high volumes of training and keeping my lifestyle on point to recover from it at maintenance calories, and bringing up work to the point to where maintenance calories start to get ridiculously high. I mean, at a point where when you're burning 4,000 plus calories a day, that's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm trying to eat the most anabolic calories I possibly can, the sort of calories that will basically reduce my chances of injuries so that we can avoid overuse injuries, everything else. And that's one reason for the protein overfeeding. That's one reason for higher fat, because we're looking at maximizing the ability of connective tissue to recover, to handle the heavy workload so that we don't get tendonitis, so we don't get overuse injuries as easily during my training around avoiding those things. Right? It all has a work and a flow. And all this is about maximizing all these different performance elements as they feed into each other. Maximizing maximum strength, maximizing explosiveness, metabolic fatigue, metabolic conditioning, and having them all flow into each other, trying to maximize everything from body composition to max strength to explosiveness. All right? Training like a true athlete. And the side effect, as I point out, is downstream of getting better at powerlifting. Because people forget that. They think, again, of powerlifting as some specific sport. Powerlifting is just a test. That's literally like saying, well, someone who just trains for sprinting, well, sprinters do more than sprinting. And people who are just all around awesome athletes tend to be able to sprint pretty good. Okay, the sprint time is nothing more than a test of your ability to sprint. It's a test of a performance element. You can choose to compete in a sport that does it, but you can still do other sports, and anyone who's a phenomenal strength athlete with powerful, explosive legs and good conditioning is going to have a decent sprint time. You go test their 40, test their 100. It's going to be pretty good. May not be Olympic level good, but it'll be pretty good. That's how powerlifting works. It's just a test of strength. And people say, well, no, because I might be bad at this one lift. Well, no, if you're bad at your powerlifting total is low, then you're not strong. That's it. It is nothing more than a test of strength of your entire body tested. That's what your total is. One lift doesn't determine your total, the three combined do. It's a test of your overall strength. And a very strong person A strong, powerful person is going to have a good total. Someone who just has a bench press, who can't squat or deadlift, obviously is not a super strong person because they don't have a high total. Okay, that's it. It measures your strength. It just tests your brute strength. Specializing in technique can improve it a bit, just like an NFL player might have a good sprint time. But if he specialized in sprinting, it would probably be a little bit better. But he better have a good sprint time to be in the NFL, right? So like an NFL player will have a good powerlifting total. A great baseball player who's athletic have good powerlifting total. Some of these MMA guys, John Jones, have amazing powerlifting totals. Okay, it's not hard to understand. Test of strength. So this is just athletic training, and in my case, it will carry over to being, better powerlifter. Because it just tests your strength. That's all it does. And in this, I'm trying to improve all my athletic attributes, training like an athlete. Right? That's what we're doing. People like to use that term on here who don't always do it. Well, this is training like an athlete. And we're seeing the recomposition happening. We can see the loose skin pulling more towards the bottom as I lose the fat higher up. And over time, as I just lose more body fat, more of that will tighten up over time. Let it happen on its own. I'll probably always have a little bit, but loose fat is just body fat adhering to the last bit of skin that you have, right? That's what it is. Skin is transparent. You can see through skin. It's paper thin. So anything not paper thin means the skin that's loose now has fat adhering to it, and it doesn't get smaller till you burn the fat under it. But as you can see, the leanness is going lower and lower and lower, right? It's going lower to where just what's remaining is the skin that's left up around the base of the shorts, because I don't have much on at this point. And if I lose another 5 pounds of body fat over time, recomp another 5 pounds, 6 pounds, that area will probably be half again as small. It'll probably cut in half. And we just keep moving forward, keep improving. Day after day after day. Keep putting in that work. Train hard. Get good at everything. That's the point. Get good at everything. But as you guys can see, coming up here, pretty much reaching my limits. I'm getting to about the limits of what I can tolerate. I'm running out of breath. I'm running out of gas. And that's to be expected. Again, I weigh 220. And my conditioning I've been needing to work on it over time more and more, and I am working on it. It's moving forward. It has room to improve. But how do we improve something? You improve something by putting in work towards it. That's it. That is the only way to improve it. And so if anyone says, well, your conditioning is okay, but I think it sucks. Well, that's fine. I'm putting in the work. And one day it won't suck. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.